Hi, I'm Paul from Unleashed Motorhome Hire, and I'll be your host for your upcoming trip. We want your stay to be as comfortable as possible, so we've created this handover video to show you all the systems of the vehicle, so on the day of collection you'll already be familiar with everything. We'll still be here to do a handover in person, just to make sure that you're comfortable with everything before you drive off. Before we get started, you'll notice around the motorhome these handy QR codes. If you've forgotten how to do anything or just need a little help, then scan these with the camera on your phone and it will take you directly to this section of the video. All of our videos are available on our YouTube channel. Just search Unleashed Motorhome Hire to view all of our videos. So let's begin. You'll only have two keys for the van, an ignition key and a smaller habitation key. The locks on the van operate from the smaller key. All the locker doors on the van operate the same. Insert your key, turn it to unlock and the handle will pop out. Twist the handle to unlatch it and then open the door. When you're finished in the locker, twist the handle to latch it back in place, then lock it again before pushing the handle in. You'll hear it click back into place, and just so you're aware, these locks can sometimes be a little bit awkward. The fuel fills just behind the passenger door on all our vehicles. If you're in a Fiat van, you'll need the ignition key to unlock the cap. With the Fords, there is no cap and the nozzle inserts straight in. All of the vehicles we run have the new Euro 6 engines, which means they take AdBlue as well. We top this up regularly, but should the warning light come on the dash, you'll need to put some in. When the warning light comes on, it generally gives you about 750 miles notice, so there's no need to stop straight away, but the next time you fuel up, just put 5 litres in and this should be sufficient for around 750 to 1,000 miles of driving. AdBlue is readily available from any petrol station and most supermarkets. Inside the gas locker, you'll find your gas cylinder, electric hookup cable and freshwater hose. We provide refillable gas systems in all our vans, which will be supplied full or nearly full. The gas should always be switched off whilst driving. To turn it off, locate the brass knob on the top of the cylinder and turn it clockwise for off. When you park up, switch it back on again, and remember, even if you're just parking up for the day somewhere, you'll need to switch it back on so the fridge will have something to run off. There's also a level indicator. These aren't 100% accurate. They tend to show full until the cylinder is around 60% used and then will drop down relatively quickly. If you need to fill the gas when you're away, then we tend to use the Autogas website. This contains up-to-date information and map searches for your closest LPG station. We've created a separate video showing you how to fill the gas, which you can access by scanning the QR code on the gas locker door. In the rear of the van, you'll find a broom, your outdoor table, chairs and a pair of levelling ramps. The levelling ramps are there for parking the motorhome on when your pitch isn't quite level. You can drive or reverse onto these, use under the front, side or rear, just to get your van sitting nice and level. Also, if you have a model with a drop-down bed, you'll find your ladders in the back here. To use the bike rack, simply drop the tray down. On the base you have straps to secure the wheels of the bike to. These are adjustable to suit the width of the wheels. On the top we have adjustable arms. Secure these to the crossbar of the bike. And remember, there's a 60 kilogram weight limit on all of the bike racks on our motorhomes. To connect the motorhome up to mains electric, first wind the cable off the reel. It's important to do this as left coiled up it will generate heat, and in extreme circumstances these reels have been known to catch fire. Secondly, connect the van end by pulling back the lid and inserting into the socket. Finally, connect the trailing lead to the power source on the site. To disconnect, follow the procedure in reverse. When removing the lead from the van, you'll need to press down this little lever in order to release the plug. Your freshwater hose is located in your gas locker. All our vans come with 5 metres of hose with hose lock adapters and tap connectors. Some pitches will have their own water supply, but for the most part you'll need to take your van to the motorhome service point, where you'll be able to fill your fresh water and empty your waste. When filling the van, you can either just fill it until it overflows, or use the refill function on the main control panel, which will tell you when the tank is full. All the water from the sink and shower goes into a holding tank underneath the vehicle. There's a waste release handle, which when pulled will simply drop the water out of the bottom of the van. On the sites they will usually have a drive over grid or eco drain where you can let this water go. Just position the van over the grid, pull the handle and wait until it's empty. Once the water stops flowing, just push the handle back in, which will seal the cassette back up. To empty the toilet, unlock and open the locker door. Lift the blue lever at the bottom and slide the cassette out. If the cassette won't come out, this is because the grey lever on the toilet itself isn't shut properly. With the cassette out, you have a carry handle and wheels. Take this over to the LSAM point on the site. Unscrew the lid and make sure you put this where it can't fall into the pit. Holding the cassette with both hands, pour the waste out. Once pouring, press your finger on the blue button. This allows some air into the cassette and then the contents will come out smoothly rather than glugging. Adjacent to the LSAM point will be a freshwater hose. Rinse the cassette and empty again. You may have to do this a couple of times to get everything out of the bottom. Once the water is running clear, you know everything is out. Just remember when using the toilet, what goes in must come out. This is the new Truma iNet X control panel. To switch it on, just hit the home button. It will take a few seconds to start up and then bring you to the home screen. We'll take a few minutes to run through all the functions of the panel and I'll also show you how to use it with the app as well. In the top left is the Resources tab. In here you can see the battery and water levels in the van. At the top is your engine battery and below is the leisure battery. All the fixtures and fittings in the vehicle are LED and our vans are equipped with solar panels, so even when you're not on electric hookup, you shouldn't experience any issues with battery levels. To the right of this is our water levels. At the top is our fresh water and to the bottom is our grey water. This is the water from the sink and shower and is held in a tank underneath the van. This panel also has a refill function. When you're filling the van up with water, you can switch this on and it will continuously monitor the levels and beep at you to tell you when the tank is full. Once full, just hit Refill Finished and it will take you back to the previous screen. To go back to the main screen at any point, just hit the back button. In the top right of the screen, you'll see this little cable symbol. This will appear when you're connected to hookup. In the bottom left is the Switches tab. You use this to control your outside light, interior lights and your water pump. Just touch the icons to switch them on and off. The television is connected to the interior lighting circuit, so this needs to be on in order to use the TV. All the lights in the vehicle switch individually, and this is something we'll show you on collection as switch positions differ between models. On the right hand side is the water pump. You'll need to have this switched on whenever you're using any water in the vehicle, and that includes flushing the toilet. It's good practice to switch it off when you're not using it, and this is for two reasons. Number one, if you were to run out of water, then the pump will overrun until it burns itself out. Secondly, when you have the water switched on, every now and then you'll hear the pump prime itself. If you leave this switched on overnight, then the chances are it will prime at 4 in the morning, and at that time of day it's pretty loud. Again, to come back to the main screen, just click the back button. Across the top, we have room climate and hot water. We'll take a look at the heating first. When you click onto this, it'll give you two options, heating and ventilating. Ventilating just switches the fan on to circulate air around the van. If we click into heating, we'll see this screen. To adjust the temperature, simply click the plus and minus buttons to the desired temperature. On the right, we have the fan settings. Comfort is low speed, and the heating will be virtually silent on this. We also have a fast setting, which you should only need to use if it's very cold or you wish to heat the van quickly. When the boiler is functioning, these red rings will pulse around the outside of the temperature. In the bottom right, this is where we choose the energy settings. We can either run this off gas, electric, or a combination of both. The easiest thing to do is switch them both on, and then the boiler will automatically choose what to run off. Remember, you can only run off electric if you're connected to 240 volt hookup. To turn the heating off, click this button in the top right hand corner. This will then bring you straight back to the main screen. To adjust the water settings, click onto warm water and then click to turn on. We have 3 settings for the water, 40 degrees for washing dishes, 60 degrees for showering, and we can also set to 70 degrees, which will enable you to have a slightly longer or multiple showers. The pulsing red circle means that the boiler is heating the water. We have the energy settings, the same as with the heating, and again, the easiest thing to do is to have both the gas and electric switched on and let the control panel decide what it's best to run off. The boiler will always give precedence to the heating over hot water, so we have the faster heating function. This then prioritises the hot water for 40 minutes before switching back over to heating. To turn the water off, click on the top right. If you leave the heating and hot water on constantly, you'll use the gas in the van pretty quickly. So it's best practice to turn these on and off when you need them. At the bottom, we have the Notifications tab. In here, any system errors will be listed. This is really handy as it tells you what's wrong, giving you the knowledge to rectify the problem. Finally, we have the power control. In here we have 2 options. We can put the system into standby, which switches everything off but allows the heating and hot water to continue running, or we can choose shutdown, which will turn off everything. When you leave the vehicle, you should always shut down the panel. To wake the panel up, just press the home button. All of the van's functions can be controlled via a smartphone, which makes this even more user-friendly. Go to your App Store and download the Truma iNet X app. You'll need to register first before being able to use it, so it's worth doing this in advance of collecting the motorhome, then we can simply show you how to pair your phone when you arrive with us. To use the fridge, simply press and hold the power button for a couple of seconds and it will turn itself on. Just make sure the A symbol is showing. This means that the fridge is set to automatic and it will cycle between gas, electric hookup and engine. To adjust the settings or temperature, press and hold the square. Firstly, it will flash on the energy settings, which we don't want to change. So if you press the square again, it will then go over to the temperature settings. We can adjust up and down using the arrow keys. Usually 3 bars is fine, 4 if it's quite hot, 5 is great for initial cooling but will start to freeze everything in the fridge after 24 hours or so. It's normal for the display on the fridge to go blank and you'll just have this little blue LED to show that the fridge is working fine. If it develops a fault, the LED will turn red and the display will start flashing. Simply press and hold the power button to turn it off and then turn it back on again. It will find itself a new energy source and go again. Just remember that at the top of the fridge is the element. Items placed close to this can soft freeze, so if you have any fruit or veg, place this lower down the fridge to avoid spoiling it. To use the toilet, lift the lid and slide the grey lever over, which will open up the flap in the bottom. Do your business, then the flush is located on the panel behind. Remember, you'll need to have the water pump switched on in order to flush. Once finished, slide the lever back over to seal the cassette back up. The first time you use the toilet, you'll need to put chemicals in. We use the Aquachem green sachets. These are a lot more environmentally and septic tank friendly. Also, some sites won't accept the blue chemicals anymore. Simply take one out of the container and drop it into the toilet. Flush a little water down so it's got something to dissolve into, and then it's ready to use. You don't need to put chemicals in every time you use the toilet, just whenever you refresh the toilet cassette. There'll be enough toilet chemicals in the van for you to refresh it every day if you want to. Even with just light usage, we'd recommend changing it every other day, especially in the summer months where it's hot. There is an indicator on the back of the toilet to tell you how full it is, but without being too blunt, when you open the flap, you can see exactly how full it is. One word of warning: if your cassette is full and you're driving on winding, hilly roads, you risk spillage into the locker itself, and this really isn't a pleasant job to clean up, so best to empty before you travel. To use the shower, if you have a model with a wooden tray over, firstly remove the tray and put to one side. Release the poppers to allow the screen to be folded round. When starting the shower, always have the lever in the 6 o'clock position. The water in the boiler can get incredibly hot. 6 o'clock is not too hot or cold. If you have the combination tap head shower, then blend the water first to the desired temperature. Press the button on the top to switch to the shower flow. But that the boiler only holds 10 litres of hot water. This equates to roughly 5 minutes of shower run time depending on temperature. It will take around 20 to 30 minutes for the boiler to reheat another tank. If your van isn't level, you may find that the shower can drain quite slowly. The hob in the kitchen is all electric ignition. Simply turn the dial, press and hold for a few seconds and then release. With the oven and grill, turn the dial to the right, the flame symbol for the grill. Again, press and hold the dial and then press the ignition button. You'll hear it ignite. Keep the dial pressed for a few seconds and then this will stay alight. For the oven, turn it the opposite direction and do exactly the same. The cupboards above and below will contain all of your kitchen equipment. This includes cutlery, crockery, glassware, chopping boards, 2 pans and a frying pan, tin and bottle openers, a knife set and cooking utensils. There's a gas kettle for when you're not on hookup, an electric kettle, Tassimo coffee machine and toaster for when you are. We even include tea, coffee, salt, pepper and sugar to get you going. Cleaning products include fairy liquid, hand wash, anti-bac spray and wipes. We also include a sponge scourer, microfiber cloth, tea towel and kitchen roll. To open the windows, press the button on the catch and turn. Some of the windows have adjusters on the struts to keep them open. Simply twist clockwise to keep open and then anti-clockwise to release them. We have 2 types of window blinds in the vans. Our Zafiros have the blackout blind at the front and the fly screen at the rear. To operate, just pull the blind and gently push in towards the van and these will hook into place. To release, pull down and away, and the same with the fly screens. With our other models, The black outline comes from the bottom and the fly screen from the top. Just squeeze the catch to release and pull all the way up, and then this will latch into place. To release, squeeze the catch and pull down. You'll find that the fly screen will come down with it, so pinch the catch on this to release. These blinds are not soft close, so guide them back up rather than letting them go. To operate the roof light, press the button and pull the handle back. Draw it all the way back to fully open, or you have a couple of half settings as well. Please remember to make sure that all windows and roof lights are closed prior to travelling. All of our vans contain smart TVs. Whenever you change regions in the van, you'll need to retune it. Rather than going through this now, you'll find a quick start guide inside your motorhome explaining how to do this. You're also able to tether the TV to your phone or mobile internet in order to watch Catch Up, Amazon or Netflix. Again, instructions on how to do this are contained within the van. In every van, you'll find a full array of safety and emergency equipment. We have smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, and in your floor box you'll find a fire extinguisher, fire blanket, warning triangle, high-vis vests, bulbs and first aid kits. We usually keep our brush and dustpans in here too. In the glove box you'll find an accident report sheet. If you are unfortunate enough to have an accident, our insurance requires that this form be completed. On the back of the form you'll find an emergency assistance number in case you have any mechanical issues with the motorhome. Please inform us of any damages, no matter how small, as soon as you possibly can. This gives us the opportunity to make provisions for when you return the vehicle. With any mechanical issues, again, please contact us. We have access to the vehicle's onboard diagnostics, so may be able to see what's going on. We should also be able to guide in any assistance using the tracking data to establish a precise location for you. Finally, under the sun visor, you'll find a card with your vehicle's height, length and width, and under the passenger side, some pre-driving checks, things just to watch out for and check before setting off. We often get asked for any driving tips or things to be careful of whilst driving the motorhomes. The first thing to say is they're actually quite easy to drive. The vision from the top and blind spot mirrors is great, and you have the two cameras at the back of the van which you can use for both reversing and as a rear view mirror if you want to whilst driving. As you're sat in quite an elevated position, this also helps with your vision. Most of the damage we get to the vehicles is to the rear end. As you can see, there's quite a large overhang behind the back wheels. When you turn, you're going to get a bit of reverse swing from the back end of the van. Now if you're in a tight spot, for example you're in a car park or you've pulled into the side of the road to let somebody past, remember to pull off and turn gradually, keeping your eye on the mirror so as not to catch the back end of the van. Motorhomes are also quite tall, so please be careful of low branches when you're driving on smaller roads. Finally, you weigh 3.5 tons. Don't get tempted to drive onto the beach or any soft ground that you don't know is suitable. As idyllic and as tempting as these spots look, you don't want to get stuck. Just because there's cars on there, it doesn't mean it's suitable for a motorhome. When returning the vehicle, we ask that the van is refuelled, the toilet cassette and locker is empty and cleaned, and that the grey water is emptied. We don't have facilities on our yard to empty these, so these will need to be done prior to leaving your final campsite. Unless otherwise indicated on your contract, your return time is 11 AM. We hope that your collection was punctual and we ask for this to be reciprocated on your return. This implies that the vehicle is on the yard, emptied and ready to inspect by this time. Please allow yourself plenty of time, especially if you're travelling at peak times, and if you know you're going to be late, then please advise us as soon as you can. We will have staff on site waiting to clean and turn around the vehicles as soon as they arrive, so this gives us the opportunity to inform them too. We fully expect to clean the vehicles inside and out, but if you can make sure that all your rubbish is removed, kitchen equipment tidy and clean, and have a quick sweep through to remove the worst, this is very much appreciated as it helps us to turn around the vans quickly and efficiently for our next customers to enjoy their holiday. When you do arrive to collect your vehicle, please remember we need to see a photo ID. This applies to anyone who is driving the van. We'll also need to take the pre-authorisation for your damage deposit, and finally we'll do a full tour of the van and note down any damages on a report sheet, which we'll both then sign along with your contracts before getting you on your way. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.